welcome. Ooh, I stole a line. Welcome everybody to another episode of Steel Sharp and Steel. I am Joy Stevens.
And I'm Tom Cunningham. Thank you for joining us. We are
This
pleased
is
to be. Hello, Anthony Turner.
this is Anthony Turner. And y'all, if y'all ain't here during the countdown, you ain't beating Anthony in this room.
Don't forget it. I mean, we give you a minute.
Right, give you a whole minute. Coming
Hey,
in.
So, aside from Joy kind of disapparating into her chair right as we started the show, we hope that you have had a good week. This is the day before the weekend, as it was. I was reminded, and it's Derby weekend.
Is it?
It is in Louisville, and my parents used to go to Louisville all the time for Derby weekend. My dad's from Louisville, and it used to be part of his work duties. I know work to actually go there for some of the clients that he used to work with in the automobile industry, and so they always had a great time because he'd get to go back home and they'd get to enjoy this big festive event. This year, no, which is fine. They're just chilling. But
why not?
Hats off to the people who are going to Louisville for Derby, and it's May. It's gotta be May. We are in Justin Timberlake's favorite month.
Right. I love that he even made fun of himself, that there was a whole realist that goes around every year and says, what's one word that you regret mispronouncing? He's like, me. But speaking to the Derby thing, around Derby time for the last several years, I've seen people want to skewer Black people who go or enjoy or participate in the Kentucky Derby, because that's the sign of when there's oppression and something. We couldn't go once upon a time, and y'all don't know your answers. Y'all here making climb something cool. Listen here, there is nothing more satisfying from a revenge standpoint than to sit prettily in a place where they told you couldn't be.
Hello.
Put on all the hats, wear all the finery, drink with more than just your pinky out. Do it all, right? Have someone from a historically privileged background serve you hot water because you brought your own tea bag because there's an inferior, whatever it might be. Ask for pure cane sugar just to see if they have it, and then give them a lecture about molasses. Whatever you want to do, but please enjoy yourself.
All of the mint juleps,
double-fisted
mint juleps with extra bourbon. So yeah, it is a thing to do, but Donald Trump won't be.
I do want to parse that out though. Like this, it's one thing to go and enjoy events that were close to us in the past, as long as you're respected. I'm not talking about going somewhere where you're disrespected and you're not wanted, like a restaurant or a gym or a wine train or what have you. You're not getting my money if you don't want it. But if you can show me the respect that I am due because I'm here as a customer, then let me enjoy the things that y'all told me, that your grandparents told me I couldn't, right?
Right.
In addition to that, shout out to all the biracial babies, because clearly somebody was enjoying something that their grandparents told them they couldn't. This is the After Dark show today.
I didn't even know.
I didn't know until I said that.
I'm finding out. So, we love having the conversation with everybody, and welcome to the room. We do actually have stuff to talk. Yes. Kind of that. Just to kick us off into our segment, I want to talk about these representations of Trump in court. Now, to me, unlike some trials, you could barely tell which trial the court sketches are supposed to be from, because he wears the exact same blue suit with the exact same red tie and the exact same white shirt. No variation.
Know what it reminds me of Kingpin from the Daredevil series, where the psychopath wears the same thing every day. Tell me that's not the same energy.
And Kingpin wore a white suit, the better to display the blood of his victims. So I went across the interwebs just to get some pictures of these court reporters. Some court reporters actually tried to make him look favorably. Most of them, however, did not.
Mhm.
Most of them were perfectly content to have him look absolutely crazy. So this is one of the default images. This is Trump. You got a bailiff in the background, maybe handcuffs, which is an interesting thing. But this is Trump's default resting Trump face. Oh, and they have him with a blue tie, which he never wears. This one is Joker
I
Trump.
call this. What'd you say?
This is Joker Trump, like Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Wait till they get a load of me. That's that creepy, and he's got the big extra swoopy pompadour. That's definitely Joker. This is confused Trump, huh? Where somebody just said something that he just heard it again. You've got bailiffs. One of those bailiffs is wearing a bulletproof vest. Take the hint.
This picture screams, "I'm mad because I don't understand."
Exactly. I am super, super mad because I don't understand. Yeah, no favorable images, right? So this is to me, this is, what was that actor's name who was in Caddyshack, the douchebag guy who had the Billy Baroo, but Ted.
Yes, the guy. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, we're waiting.
Yes, him. Mm-hmm.
That's who he looks like to me.
With the shock of white hair. Yeah. That guy was actually interesting, though. Yeah.
Yeah, well. But you can also see the 12 different colors he used to give him contouring and to try to get the orange, but also human. This is stay away from my daughter perv, Trump.
Yeah. Trump is the perv in question. Yeah.
Trump is the perv, yes. That leering.
This is the poster child for pepper spray.
Right? Say it. This one is, I call this the Orange Avenger. This is him thinking he really that dude. They're also not particularly kind, incidentally, to other members of the Trump family. For instance, this is Don Jr. And when Sade was giving her commencement speech at the Rihanna Fenty School of Forehead Appreciation, she said, "You got a smooth, super forehead. Smooth, super forehead." That's a big forehead. That's a really, really big forehead. And then this last one, I thought,
surprise.
This one is what I would say is the Fox News Kids purple crayon Trump.
This looks like the villain from a Scooby-Doo movie.
Yeah, and I would have gotten away with it if it hadn't been for those pesky Democrats.
You meddling black women.
blue tie. So again, inaccurate. But that is what you get. We can just flash those images in anytime we're doing a Trump court story, because basically that's all we're going to see. They could take a complete vacation and just send in photocopies of their previous sketches, because nothing changes.
He's continuing to stay in trouble, though, because he can't keep his mouth shut. Like, he is forever on the verge of being incarcerated for contempt of court. It's like he doesn't, not the jinkies, really, Anthony, with the jinkies. But it's like it's not that he doesn't understand, it's that he doesn't believe that the consequences will apply to him.
Absolutely.
When they tell him, if you don't stop talking about this, if you don't stop inciting people to dox members of the court, we're going to hold you in contempt, which means we're going to hold you, period. He's like, yeah, whatever. I really hate this. I'm not going to say who she is, but her initials are, JOYSTEPHENS. And I don't know where she's from, but maybe if you go down to Hotlanta, you might find, like, whatever the hell he's doing, he needs to stop. And the fact that he won't, because it's not that he can't. He
He
only
won't.
does it when he understands that something is in his best interest. And right now, he believes that he can still try this case in the court of public opinion, which is why he
Opinion.
keeps trying to get people on his side. But even his own folks are abandoning ship.
You
Like
know,
we said, the title of the show. Would you want him as a defendant?
I know I wouldn't. And
Mhm.
the funny thing to me is he was making all this hay about Judge Merchan not allowing him to go to Barron's graduation. He tried to
Mhm.
fundraise off it for days after days after days after days. First of all, Judge Merchan had not made that ruling. He had just said, I don't know. It's still a month away. I
Mhm.
need to see how the schedule's going to go, and then I'll let you know. Well, yesterday, Judge Merchan was like, no, 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 we're not going to have court that day. Go on ahead and go to your graduation. And this was Trump. Huh? What? You mean I actually have to go?
Right now, you better
Oh,
go.
oh no, you have to go.
You
Because
have to
if
go.
you end up doing a little promo stop somewhere, if you go to Wingstop, if you stop at a Taco Bell
Right.
instead of going to Barron's graduation, it's a
If you
wrap.
stop up a toilet that's not on 85, you in trouble.
You best get right down there and you best be in the front row. And you know Melania's gonna be like, oh God,
Right.
why do you have to come?
Melania, she's
She's
like,
so over.
doesn't anybody have any more dirt on him to keep him away from me?
I,
That's the
I
worst accent ever. That's a terrible accent. I apologize to everybody from her country for that accent. It's terrible.
yeah, well, uh,
But still,
the
she don't want to
novel
see him.
she
She is
doesn't. She does not
no.
want to see him there. And he keeps making these errors. One of the headlines today was that I saw was Todd Blanche, who was the lawyer who's got off on all the wrong feet. Ooh,
Sadida, I'm honestly not sure. I
I,
my gut says
I
no,
doubt it.
but he could have. He better go to this one though.
5 children by 3 different baby mamas. Family is clearly important to him, but graduations, I can't say. But there's in the headline, it was mentioning how his own lawyer, Todd Blanche, who kind of stepped in it and actually had the judge presiding over the case say, you're losing all credibility with this court right now. That's how you start. That maybe not the best way to start, but Todd Blanche actually grimaced in court at the mention of his client. And so it's just like, oh, to be you, bro, to be you.
Mm-hmm.
And other representation in other cases, not these high profile criminal cases, they're just leaving him because.
Let me tell you what I think Todd Blanche is experiencing because I have experienced this before myself. There's a phrase term called body dysmorphia, and normally it relates to not feeling like you should be in your own body. That's how it's used a lot in today's modern parlance. But 2 decades ago, it could also mean not feeling like your body is where it needs to be in the space, three-dimensional space of the earth. Like absolutely hating where you are. And at one point in my life, I absolutely hated where I worked. And so I would get nauseous every time I walked in the
Wow,
building,
really?
like every day. That's how I figured out I needed to quit. I quit with no plan back in like 1999. I was ready to just quit and go live with my mama. That's how bad it was because every day just and so I feel like when they said you're defendant Donald Trump, I feel like he's getting that. I don't want to be here, but there's nothing else you can do. You're trapped, and you know you're trapped. And biting through your own wrist on national television is frowned upon. So he has no way out. And I don't feel bad for him because you knew you had to know when you took the job, but somebody had to do it. And I'm gonna pray for you, bro. That's all I can do for you.
I don't have sympathy for anybody who is already in his, I guess, thrall, whatever they've chosen to operate in his orbit. I have seen the rehabilitation of somebody like that because I really enjoy Michael Cohen and the Mea Culpa podcast. Like as soon as he got that podcast, it's like week after week after week after week of him just.
It was cathartic for him to be like, and another thing, this is more bullshit.
It was.
Yes.
Yeah, no, and he admits it. That's the whole name of the podcast. I'm sorry. Look, let me
Mm-hmm.
Admit I was a dick. And he definitely has his own axe to grind with Trump. But because of the way Trump has structured his defense in this particular case, instead of doing like a lot of lawyers have said, he required the verification of all of these documents that normally would have been stipulated. And he's complaining about the length of the trial, but they're like, you added
Right.
5 days at least by
Right.
not stipulating that this is, and then you bring in a CNN guy. Well, I'm not going to agree that that video of me saying something that was brought on C-SPAN, not CNN, a broadcast on C-SPAN. I'm not going to say that that is authentic. So now you got to bring in this vice president of archives at C-SPAN to
Mm-hmm.
say, yeah, that's what ran. It hasn't been
Yeah.
authentic.
But all of
Yeah.
this is delaying tactics. But at
It's
this point, why?
Well,
You know?
I guess he feels like he actually doesn't have to campaign because there isn't another choice, and he knows that the GOP is, going
Mhm.
to kind of be in lockstep. At this point, really, the campaigning is just for his ego because he
Yeah.
likes being in front of people who scream for him.
But I
But
mean,
he doesn't
he likes to have
actually.
his ego stroked because ain't nobody else doing it.
Oh
But
well,
I
certainly
mean,
not
nobody.
Melania.
Melania ain't done that in years.
Nobody,
Right. Um,
nobody, baby.
but I also think that you made me lose my train of thought. But so the whole thing about delaying the trial, I think that he believes if he can hold off on any judgments, even if he gets convicted of all of it, if he can hold off on any judgments until November 10th, that he feels like I'll be president, I'll pardon myself. Like I feel like he may be trying to delay any
Well,
decisions.
I mean, this is the one case where he couldn't pardon himself because it's state.
He don't know
It's
that.
state crime. Well, in Georgia too, he couldn't pardon himself for Georgia.
He
But
don't know that. He doesn't believe that. He still
well,
believes that the
that's true.
president is the dictator.
Yeah, he might. I mean, there's no way he can extend this trial. It's going to
Mhm.
end soon. They've been running through the witnesses, and most of the people I listen to, I won't say that I listen to a lawyer who I believe is misrepresenting things, but the people who I listen to and listen to their evaluation of the day's events, the way they're talking about the witnesses, there haven't been any slam dunks, but David Pecker has been the super witness. He was a great way to open this because he's just putting it all out there. And he was perceived as being a Trump friend. He
Mhm.
doesn't want to
He
get
was
in
in
jail.
that inner circle. Yeah, yeah.
Right, but
And you've got
he's
all this
important.
footage of him saying how much that guy, the best people and my friend and confidant and loyalty and trust and all this stuff. And then they turn on you. You cannot now say, I never liked that guy and he's a liar because you spent 4 years, 6 years saying he was great. So your
Right.
credibility is shot. You can't refute what he's talking. You're right. That was a great way to start it off. I wonder how they're
And
going to finish though.
well, what the strategy I've heard is that so you start off with this guy because he's powerful, and then you get into
Mhm.
the BS where it kind of gets lost in the woods. C-SPAN guy and the guy who controlled the bank accounts, and yes, this bank account was started on this day. Yes, this
Mhm.
deposit happened. All of these things that could have been stipulated. That kind of bores the jury. So you want to now bring somebody who amps something up a little bit. So is that going to be Stormy Daniels? Is that too much? Do you? I mean, you had his secretary who kind of humanized him, but she was just kind of straight ahead. She obviously didn't want to be there, but she's credible and she's easy, and then it was done. So you've got Stormy, who's going to speak to the factual nature of the thing because he's been saying the whole time there was no affair, there was no blah 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 blah. He's going to be dreading that because she's going to be talking about how
Mhm.
small it
His
is.
mushroom. Yeah.
Yeah, the mushroom, and you've got Michael Cohen.
Mhm.
Michael
I think
Cohen is
Cohen would
tough.
make a good closer.
Well, but the thing is that the defense is going to be attacking his credibility. They're going to be attacking him, and so you don't want to close with him because the last thing that the jury will be hearing is basically the defense hammering him.
Yeah.
So they're thinking that Michael Cohen will come about 70% through because you have some people on the back end to kind of clean that up,
Mm.
make sure all the other things are tied together,
Mhm.
maybe some financial people from the Trump organization to say, yes, this check went out at this time. Yes, this blah, 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 blah. And then he may even bring some people to say, at this point, he got $100,000 in this month. What business for the Trump organization did Michael Cohen perform in the month of January? What business did he perform in the month of February? What business did he perform in the month of March? What business did he? Well, and you can't say it's a retainer because it was $100,000 a month because that was the bonus for just the 130. So he doesn't get $100,000 a month as a retainer, does he?
Right. Make it make sense, and they can't.
Make it make sense. So that's how you close. You got Michael Cohen. You're going to have to deal with Cohen. The defense is going to bring up Cohen's problems, but they've already had witnesses talk about Cohen being a dick, all these other sorts of things. But Cohen's going to get up there and say, yes, I did lie for Donald Trump.
Right.
Yes,
he told me to do it.
Lie and went to jail.
Right.
For Donald Trump. So, yes, I went to jail because I did something for Donald Trump. I really don't.
This is a good question.
Bob, I honestly don't think.
I wish he would, though.
Oh, I would love nothing more, but I think Todd Blanche has seen a few good men. And I think he knows if Trump gets on there, he'll say, yes, I ordered the code red and I doing it.
However,
I
mean, depending on how much he won't shut up, there is the possibility that he's forced to the stand, or depending on what he might say. Or go ahead.
Well, there's a theory about that because one of the things that Marshawn is commenting on is that, well, he's making these things outside of court, but he won't testify in court. So the question, to your point, Joy, can he be compelled? I don't think he can be compelled, but I do think that in closing, the prosecution will be able to say, look at his own words here.
Right.
And
look at the video of him on last week when we told him to shut up and he kept saying it. And even he don't believe him.
You heard the testimony in this court. He's standing outside saying something. He won't say it in here. So we're not going to let you hear what he said. We will just say that he was out there every day, not testifying.
It'll be a legal move, the legal equivalent of say it with your chest.
Yeah. But he won't. Fifth Amendment, my amendment rights. Okay, that's fine. But you're outside screaming it. 10 steps away from here. You're saying, you scared? Say you scared.
If you scared, say you scared. And that might sum up all of those pictures put together. Right.
Yeah.
But there were other things going on this week that we want to touch on. And we're 24 minutes into the show. So I want to bring up a couple other things that we discussed. One of them, these doggone southern states.
Woo.
I'm gonna start southwest and I'm gonna go east and let y'all know where y'all want to live. Okay, we're gonna start with Arizona. We talked about Arizona last week, and we talked about the fact that they had tried to enforce and reinvigorate this 1864 law, a law that was on the books when not only could women vote, we were still slaves, right?
Also, Arizona wasn't a state.
Arizona
wasn't even a state.
That part is motherfucking territory. Arizona wasn't. I completely glossed over that completely. Yes, that part. The primordial soup of Arizona at the time, right? They're trying to bring laws back from here. And today, if I'm not mistaken, the governor of Arizona is trying to hurry up and sign a bill that was brought forth by the Democrats in the state, because Arizona is very much purple. Democrats in the state are like, we want to pass a law disavowing that previous 1864 law. Let's go ahead and make sure that it is officially off the books, right? I think it passed. Wait, hang on, Bob. I want to put this up from Bob real quick. The defendant won't take the oath and tell you the truth, as he would rather stand outside in front of the cameras without being under oath. That's honestly a good statement.
That's the thing to say.
But back to Arizona. So it ended up being a 16-14 split, right? And it's because two Republicans crossed the line to vote with the Democrats that had brought this bill forward to eradicate the 1864 nonsense. There were still 14 senators that voted to try to vote down the bill so that the 1864 law could stand. And one of them, this was her reason. This is Republican State Senator Wendy Rogers. And she said, life starts at conception. They got it right in 1864. We need to continue to get it right in 2024. And this is as she was casting her vote to maintain the 1864 law. Y'all, this is the face of your oppressor. I just want you to see this. Women, all the women out here, get your girl. Get your girl.
Can I wait? Put her back up there for a second. Why is she wearing like the wings a pilot gives a child?
No, I do believe that she was in the Air Force.
Oh, is she in the Air Force?
Yes,
oh my God, that is an Air Force. That is an Air Force wings.
Mm-hmm.
I should know. My dad was in the Air Force.
I'm gonna tell you, Daddy out here messing with the Air Force wings, bro.
Yeah.
But
sorry, Dad. Sorry.
Yeah. So she comes from a military background. She hails as being very uber conservative, etc. But just it's giving Serena. No, it's giving Aunt Lydia from
that one. Yeah, yeah.
A Handmaid's Tale. This whole they got it right in 1864, and I'm trying to uphold the morals of this state. And most of the state is like, man, we do not rock with you. You know.
No.
Oh, and the bill was signed this afternoon, but it doesn't go into effect for 90 days. So there will be maybe 80 days or so. I think the other 1864 thing was supposed to go into effect 10 days from now. So it might be a couple of months, 2 or 3 months, where it's possible, you know, that bill will uphold. So it's going to be a lot of political conflict and political posturing around that, you know.
And don't go to Florida, ladies, if you need to get out of Arizona, because that 6-week ban went into effect in Florida. And so
while Arizona's over here cutting up and the women are acting a fool, well, some of the women in Arizona are acting a fool, while others are strongly trying to say my body, my choice. Over in Tennessee, we got this going on. Hang on a second. I want to see if I can play this video clip for you real quick. Whoops. I'm pushing the wrong buttons. Hang on. I want to see if I can play this videos for you real quick. So what happened is that, is this it? Yes. I'll let it speak for itself. Hang on.
Cousin marriage will probably be illegal soon in Tennessee, but not without a fight.
Yeah, a Republican lawmaker defends cousin marriages today after saying his grandparents were first cousins.
State Capitol reporter Chris O'Brien has more details on the unusual bill.
Now, who might that be, you ask? Well, let me tell you. It would be Tennessee lawmaker Gino Bulso. Or Bulso. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. It's Bulso. Gino over here is like, cousins are fine. Cousins are perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with marrying your cousin. Also wanted to, and he tried to cite gay marriage regulations as the reasons that first cousin marriages should be allowed. I mean, if he is indeed the same one they are referring to, because there were multiple people that were trying to uphold this idea, maybe his grandparents were first cousins, which would explain his position on it and his graduating position.
It would also explain
them ears,
that his ears look like a house elf.
Come on, Dobby. I'll throw a sock at you. You can get out of here.
Harry Potter must go. Yeah, to marry his cousin.
Oh my God.
Cousin marriage.
Yeah, they out here trying to outdo West Virginia.
Yeah, West Virginia and Mississippi are like, yes. Come on, Tennessee. Wow.
Yo, the women folk ain't safe out here in the South. I could give you a million different things about Chan. God damn it, Chan. They say your cousin is your best friend, your first best friend. Why not make them your last?
First of all, can you imagine the number of banjos at that wedding?
Whose side do you sit on? Is it just a big tent? No
Mama,
aisle in the middle. Just sit where you feel.
Mama, are we going to grandma's house later? What?
Right.
It's like,
Ugh. I just think about my cousins. And I was just thinking like, hell no. Like, but I do believe that similar to my position on the Loving case that the Supreme Court heard that allowed for interracial marriage, I do believe that is the desires of white men that drive these sorts of decisions. Because I promise you, there's no woman out there that's saying my cousin is the only person I'll ever love. It tends to be a woman who's, I'm speaking in generalities, a woman who is younger than the man, who has been groomed. Like, what was the Great Balls of Fire? Didn't he marry his cousin?
Jerry Lee Lewis. Yeah.
Jerry Lee Lewis.
13.
She was younger than him, right? So they tend to be, and then it's a family member. So there's a sense of, I guess they're supposed to take care of me. You know, what does it say? These people have me thinking of Michael what a fool. Not Uncle Brother. Y'all a mess. Y'all on fire tonight. But but I've had this discussion with other people that I think the reason that the Loving case passed was because it was a white man that was asking to be allowed to marry his Black lover. If it had been a Black man taking the Supreme Court, first off, he wouldn't have made it out of the state.
Woman? Please.
He wouldn't have made it out of state. Right. Because that would have been an affront to their ideals. And by the same token, wanting to marry your first cousin is usually the dude that's been checking out his little cousin since, she started budding out, as they say.
You know what?
Y'all nasty.
It's giving Game of Thrones. That's what you get. That's when you get Joffreys. You hear me?
You want Joffreys? Because that's how you get Joffreys.
You want Joffreys. That's
you combine this with the bath salts and zombies is just a step away.
You get the Mad King. That's what you get.
Right. Matter of fact, no. you think you're absolutely serious, because that is the inbreeding in Europe is why they had so many eclectic rulers for so long.
Eclectic. That's why Bridgerton features Queen Charlotte and not her husband. Let's just keep it real.
Right. Queen Charlotte knew what she was doing, but so stay out of Arizona, stay out of Tennessee, stay out of Florida, stay out of Mississippi, don't go to Alabama, and stay out of Texas, and stay out of most of Georgia and South Carolina and Virginia.
This is Steel Sharpen Steel, presented by The Green Book.
Gas
don't
up
go to
before
any of the
leave.
states we just mentioned, because
I got gas up before you go, because you don't know when you're gonna be able to stop.
My literally, when we were kids, if we were on a road trip, like my grandparents lived in Texas, and so if we were on a road trip going someplace and we had to pass through Mississippi, it was like only during daylight hours.
Mm-hmm.
And you go through the littlest bit, like you don't
on I-10.
The wide part. You want to get that skinny little piece and get out of there as soon as possible.
I have never stopped in Mississippi for anything. My dad used to review my route going from Spelman back to Houston, gas up on the south side of Atlanta, so you could go 85 south to 65 south to 10. Take, like you said, the little isthmus of Mississippi across, and you don't stop till you get to Slidell, which is north of New Orleans, because Slidell is where my friend's family was. Gas up, spend the night if you want to. If you think you can make it home, don't stop again. Ain't nothing else safe from New Orleans / Slidell all the way to Houston. And I made that ride for 4 or 5 years in a row.
Listen, I drove from Tallahassee to Beaumont just on a straight shot.
Yeah,
because Beaumont was
no safe place.
And then we would drive. It takes a whole day to drive across the rest of Texas just to get to El Paso.
Yes, that's another 850
miles.
San
Antonio, I had a cousin, and we just stay over in San Antonio, because why would you want to drive for 24 hours across Texas of all states?
No. But James, Texas, this, when they talk about Make America Great Again, every state was a sundown town once upon a time. Every incorporated city had a no Negro policy of some sort. And so Negroes had to build their little villages outside of the city proper. And those are the villages that would end up getting burned down when they started to prosper. You know, it was never inside the incorporated towns. A lot of neighborhoods, they don't open up their, you know, bylaws and constitutions and whatnot in these enclaves, but a lot of them say no collective people of color, no Asian, no Negro, no Mexican, because at the time that's what they call it, everybody, right? And this has it in there, you know. They pretend they don't see it because they don't want to remember what they were a part of or what they bought into, what their parents bought into. Because if you own a home in some of these neighborhoods that was built in the 40s, it very much was a no Negro area. And this ain't some random other person that you can say that wasn't my family. That was your grandfather, right? So reckon with that. You know what might make all of this go down a little bit easier is the fact that one of Snoop's favorite plants is about to become a Schedule III substance.
Schedule 3.
Yes.
That's a big change. And just for people who don't know the history of all of this. So there's different schedules of the way drugs are supposed to be sorted. And so there's number 1, which is can cause death, highly addictive, no medical use. So one of the first things that turned out to be a problem is that literally there's no documented death related to marijuana use. Like literally, there's nothing. So
How
back
can
in the 50s,
you die when you fell asleep in the living room surrounded by potato chips? I mean, you just sleep.
So they had ganja fever, you know, these wacky movies, and it just made them feel like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's where heroin and marijuana were. Schedule 2, less dangerous than heroin. Cocaine and meth. Cocaine and meth are Schedule 2. Marijuana, the worst. Cocaine, meth, Schedule 2. And so somebody was like, well, I mean, like literally it is prescribed with medical use because of, you know, glaucoma, cancer.
Right. And that's been decades.
Decades and decades. So we can't even put it in a Schedule 2. So we might as well put it in a Schedule 3. It's going to be a lot more states. First of all, the federal declassification means that a lot of the states that are living with it, the way the companies are operating, all of that sort of thing, that's going to change too. But a lot more states, now that there's no federal ban on it, a lot more states are going to be
you're going to see weed stores popping up like liquor stores because they're already popping up like GNCs. For every vitamin shop, there's a Your CBD shop, right? And eventually you're going to start to see them, you know, just like, what is it? The wine store, the weed store, you know?
Exactly.
And a lot of this, there's 2 reasons for this. One, we as a country refuse to reconcile with the amount of stress we put on our own constituencies. We pretend that everything is fine and everybody needs to just suck it up and these kids are so weak and blah, 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 blah. But the world that we're living in is 10 to 15 times more stressful than the world that existed during World War II, when there were very real bomb threats going around. The average 18-year-old during the time of World War II is not nearly as stressed as the average 18-year-old is today. And cannabis has been seen to help with so many other things. And they've also started to regulate it so that corporations can make money off of it. Once it becomes a cash cow, this is going to be legal. And Denver was a test case, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I see, just what Paul just said, Denver, if I can get this to come up, Denver had more dispensaries than Starbucks.
Which is saying a lot. There are definitely more dispensaries in a 20-mile radius or a 5-mile radius of my house. There are definitely more dispensaries than there are Starbucks, because Starbucks has to, because it's, you know, one corporation, they have to be strategic in where they're putting their Starbucks. It's like, okay, so this one's here, give it a mile, give it a whatever. These dispensaries, no, they try. It's like Westworld out in here. They're trying to do whatever.
You know, Bob is running it back for us. And now this is a good point, because I've heard this discussion had before. Give me one law that controls men's bodies or anything that they want to do with it. and there are none. So I'm gonna stop y'all from having to rack your brains. There's no law that says a man cannot do something with his own body. And then there's no law that says any other person can control that man's body, except if he's getting arrested, in which case put your whole body in prison. But that's, the same thing. And this whole, I've always found it extremely hypocritical that we have all of these people talking about, God doesn't want this and let nature take its course and it's a part of nature and something else. And this is what God wanted and God doesn't do medicine, all these kind of things. Yet Viagra is on almost every insurance plan. And nobody ever says God don't want you getting a boner past 55. Like they just like, it is. They talk about contraceptives as if it is a gateway for women having promiscuous sex, when Viagra is specifically to get it up, to have, and more than likely for someone who is probably past 50. So why are you out here trying to spawn children anyway, man? You should be done with this by now, right? So don't say nothing to me about bodily autonomy until you take it away from men as well. And if you really want to talk about birth control and birth rates and being responsible, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that passage that people like to refer to about birth control about a man spilling his seed? So y'all stop jacking off. Make jacking off a capital crime. You murdered 5 million people last night while you was watching Pornhub, and you need to go to jail for it.
That was a whole lot of half children, possibly, that you killed last night.
Right.
Thousands.
Right.
All them half babies.
Mm-hmm.
All of that.
Mm-hmm.
All that potential.
All that potential. Birth rates could drop because of the attacks on women's. Yep. You're right.
One of those half babies may write a future Drake beef diss.
Shut up. But you know what? I had this conversation with a friend of mine earlier today. There's no reason for us to try to maintain the birth rate in the United States. We're overpopulated as it is. The whole world has too many people. And if you want to get metaphysical about it, there could be some chemical signaling that says, you know what, stop wanting to have children because there's too many children. The earth itself regulates population control all the time. That's what Black Death was about. Every time we get out of pocket, COVID was another attempt at that. Bubonic plague, Ebola is always trying to kill us. Right. And so why don't we maybe do a little bit better and say, you know what, we will show some self-control and stop trying to force women to have children. And this idea, I'm getting a headache because my friend Danny sent me this video earlier today. Danny, I'm still mad at you about this bullshit. The video was some Kevin Samuels knockoff talking about women can't be like men. Oh, because this woman said, sometimes, I might behave in a sexual nature. Sometimes I think like a man too. I just want to get mine and get on. And he said, women that think like a man are broken. That was the first statement. And he went on to talk about that any woman that thinks like a man, her spirit has been broken and something else, and she's damaged goods and something, blah, blah, blah. And if she got too many bodies on her, she's not worth attachments anyway, because a woman is supposed to carry a baby for 9 months, which means you're not supposed to be out here, gatting around or whatever. You got to blah, blah. He just talked about a bunch of other bullshit. But then he said, men are supposed to spread their seed far and wide. I can impregnate all the women in the world if I want to, because that's what men do. That's why we're supposed to be promiscuous and women are supposed to be faithful. So you're basically saying that I'm supposed to sit at home barefoot and pregnant while you cheat on me with everyone I know. And you think that is a natural order of things. And it also takes away any worth of a woman beyond breeding, which again leans towards that Handmaid's Tale thing. If you're not good for birthing babies, I'm gonna either throw you in the Jezebel County or make you a cook or whatever, because you're no longer worth my attention. But then I'm supposed to be having these kids and you're supposed to just be out here slinging pipe all over town. That ain't fair. But the fact that you think that's how it's supposed to be, one, it tells me you're not getting laid. And two, it tells me that you are really out of touch with women, because we have so much more worth than just baby factories. And when we talk about like Black history and Hispanic history and women's history, is one of the reasons that holding on to those histories is so important, because otherwise the narrative becomes what these tackheads out here who are 29 and virgins is talking about, I'm the dating master of the world, are lying to people and telling them is that women have a place and we need to keep them in their place by violence if necessary. The same thing they do to Black people, when they keep you in your place by violence if necessary. All of this over and over again is replacing one sort of oppression for another. And I'm not here for any of it. All y'all can miss it with that. And shout out to the 4B movement in Korea. I want to say like 2019, Korean women were like, all of their words start with B, like to say negative, no marriage, no children, no dating, no sex. They're like, we just gonna go to work and go to bed because we sick of y'all bullshit. And I'm like right here with you because I've been working and going to bed for years now, right? It's a great life.
This is Strata. Yeah.
Look, I got more focus and more money than I've ever had.
You said it, not the Me Too movement, the B2 movement.
It's the 4B movement. It's getting credit is given for starting in South Korea, but it's spreading west as we speak, as more and more women in Asian countries like, you know what, I'm out. And they're not trying to be anti-male. They're not trying to say that they want men to change. They're just like, I remove myself. The only winning move is not to play. And that's what they're doing, you know?
All right. I know that this is going to be devastating news to the passport bros who were putting their
the passport bros is out of business
together.
Anyway. Because I remember Brazil basically said, you cannot get off the plane if you don't have proof of at least like $1,000 in your checking account and a ticket home. You ain't just coming here and doing whatever. Yeah. So passport bros and it was always some broke dude that couldn't get home out here on the internet talking about, you know, anybody out there, I'm in Brazil right now. And so, you know, if y'all can spot me $400 so I can get a plane ticket home, bruh, why are you out there? You know what? You could have probably found a girl in Lithonia that would have got with you for a 2-piece and some new Jordans. Like, you ain't had to go to Brazil. You wasted that money.
You know what the difference is? The one in Lithonia isn't speaking Portuguese, so he would understand her.
Right.
That's the thing.
This is why women choose bears.
Okay, I did not know what this was until later yesterday afternoon, because one of our guys, Sunham Show, did this thing, and his perspective was that he got attacked by these white women who were saying, you know, would you choose Goldilocks or the bear? And you know, and I understand why people choose the bear. And she's like, that wasn't a woman, that was a girl. And then he had to come back
child.
And say, yeah, there were 5 versions of Goldilocks, and in the first ones,
she was an older
woman, and then she was young, and then they turned her into a tween or a post-pubescent woman.
She was always blonde, though. Come in, he tearing up somebody else's stuff, getting in their bed, eating up all their food, and then calling the cops and having them killed for defending their own home. It sounds about white to me. But the reason
I didn't know that the original question was, a man and a bear, would you choose the bear? And his point was, listen to why the women are choosing the bear.
It was one of those like little video clips, and this guy went around interviewing women, and every woman said the bear. And the reason being because the bear, if I don't mess with the bear ain't gonna mess with me. The bear can stay on this side of the woods, and as long as I don't come near his cubs or try to mess with his food source, it's not gonna mess with me. I cannot say the same for the man. The man might stalk me through the woods. The bear will kill me quickly. Right? There's no guarantee that the man would.
Damn. Jeez.
Right. And then in the comments,
do better. If women are choosing 1-ton beasts with claws over you, that says a lot about you.
Yeah. Not mega bus material.
Not mega bus. Wow.
At least the bros on the mega bus know how to stay in their lane. But that original discussion about the bear and the male, women are saying, I would choose the bear. And men are responding in the comments, y'all are just ignorant. Y'all don't know what y'all saying. We're telling you, we would pick the bear. We're not stupid. We understand the danger to us. You don't. And you telling a bunch of women y'all are wrong is exactly why we would pick the bear, because y'all don't know how to take no. And then other discussions around, one of the persons said, if I told the police the bear attacked me, they would believe me. And that said it all. Just right there.
Wow. This question has turned me on my head. That is some pathological shit we have in our society, where women feel that distrustful of men.
Well,
Now,
men are,
granted, if the bear got into the cabin, it wasn't raging into the cabin. So it could be, it wants to go to sleep. It wants to hibernate.
Right.
You can snuggle up next to a bear. It's cuffing season. Who knows?
but most of the time when you see bears on like videos or cameras or whatever, they're not in a raging attack. They're usually just like
Right.
sniffing through stuff. They're strong. They don't know their own power. If you try to hug a bear, they might accidentally crush you because what are you doing? And why are you over there? But if it's a question of you mind your business, I'm mind mine, the bear can have that whole side of the room. And I can feel safe on top of on the roof because he ain't coming up here. He ain't looking for me. The man is stalking me
You could
every
also
night.
just leave and the bear wouldn't chase you.
The bear would not chase me. Right. And
Now, if it were cocaine bear, probably a different choice.
you know what? I beg to differ because I saw that movie and cocaine bear only chased the people that had cocaine on them.
Oh, that's true.
Mm-hmm. So
Well,
they got a good sense of smell. So if I'm over here just smelling like regular steak and it's cocaine steak over there, and I would have made cocaine steak because I'm gonna throw the cocaine at you so I could get away, bear ain't bothering me. If I play my cards right, I can train this bear on cocaine treats. I don't know what I'm saying.
you said cocaine treats
Right.
for a bear.
Sit, yawn. There you go. See you tomorrow.
Ride that unicycle.
Exactly.
Ride that unicycle.
Let me put this harness on your back so I can plow these fields and dangle a cocaine package out in front of you on a fishing pole, garden this whole yard. Symbiosis with the bear.
And you could grow weed in that yard, so it's a win-win for everyone.
And then I can step him down, right?
You can take it from a Schedule 2 to a Schedule 3. See, that's how we wind the whole show up. We bring something from every single piece of the show to close out the show. That's the magic of steel sharpens steel. That's the steel being sharpened by the steel. You didn't put your hand up. The other hand.
But as you engage in your edibles and everything, and it becomes a Schedule 3, don't forget when that edible finally hits from 3 hours ago, and you don't remember who you are, or why you did something, or how you got this pack of French fries in your hand. Just remember, always imbibe responsibly.
And you may ask yourself, where is my wife? And
This is not my beautiful wife.
This is not my beautiful house. Letting the days go by. Once in a lifetime. So do we have anything else to close out the show? I was looking through the little videos and things.
No, that was my only little thing. I don't think we had. You know what? I did have one other video, but I accidentally closed it, and I don't want to waste the time to get it back. Just know that it was. Oh wait! I do have one. I do have one. Hang on one second.
Excellent.
Present. Let me get this done right. All right, here we go.
Absolutely.
This is Clark Atlanta.
Man.
What's that?
Hello. I would like to give my donkey of the day to the president of Morehouse, David Thomas, for extending an invitation to President Biden and passing up so many prominent Black figures who were more deserving, and also for not listening to his faculty and student body at Tuesday's town hall meeting when we urged him and pleaded with him to rescind the invitation.
Are y'all going to protest President Biden when he comes?
He said, "Look, I ain't gonna
What's
say
Yikes. There's some Morehouse men in the audience, and so I'm interested in how y'all feel about that. I don't want to drag things out because I know we got to run, but I wanted to end with that donkey today because y'all think these kids ain't paying attention, and whether you agree with their politics or not, the fact that they are taking a stance is what I am impressed with. Even if I'm not sure if I'm falling on the same spot on the spectrum as they are with my feelings about Biden and where I'm voting, et cetera. And they're not saying that they're not going to vote for him. They're saying that they didn't want him speaking at their commencement. and they're within their
In a
rights.
time, we didn't really talk about this, but in a time when so many commencements, I mean, Columbia University arresting students, I mean, there's all sorts of things happening across the country in terms of the particular issue. And so you've got to pay attention. And it's impressive to me, in the same way that Me Too, in the same way that Black Lives Matter, in the same Occupy Wall Street, these movements that are happening and coming up through the youth, the movements are impressive, and the political engagement is increasing. And so I don't think this is not a period of time where apathy, it might have been in the, in previous generations where, oh, I'm just not going to do anything because, nothing's going to change. These kids are feeling empowered, and you're going to see a lot more 18, 19, 20-year-olds voting this election season.
Yeah.
I absolutely believe it.
And it's a much more nuanced landscape than I think our generation is recognizing, because we're the generation of we thought we had it good in the 80s, and now we're realizing, oh shit, we don't. And so we're like, oh God, we got to get serious. And we want people to never waver and to never express dissent, similar to the cult that is now the Republican Party. Democrats don't get down like that. Matter of fact, it is part of the democratic process to make people prove that they deserve your vote. And so I support what they're doing. Am I a little bit nervous about the potential for them to say, I'm not going to vote and do the protest nonsense? I don't think that's what's happening here. I think they're voicing the fact that they are unhappy with the current president and the things that he has allowed to happen, or that he has not rectified on his watch. And they're letting him know in advance of the November election, you got to do better, because you can't always count on us. They might still pull it out in November and say, I'm gonna go ahead and hold my nose and vote or whatever, but just know that we were serious. We'll head off the impending doom of another Trump presidency, but we want you to know we're serious, and that they got 4 more years, hypothetically, to get their voting block right. And also they have been rocking with Kamala Harris a whole lot more, because everything is on the wall.
Well, I wonder, even if the school doesn't want to rescind the invitation, I wonder if Biden understands that the optics of having a silent audience, or even worse, an audience that expresses disapproval,
or walks out
at a commencement with all Black men, you don't want that.
And
you
look, bro,
do not want
at the school that Martin Luther King graduated from.
No. Go to Delaware, bro.
If I were in Biden's camp, and I hope somebody around him is telling him this, I would send a very heartfelt letter to Morehouse, appreciating the invitation, respecting the students, understanding, and being excited that they're involved in the process of, like I'm saying, like Joy is saying right now, you know what? I'm glad y'all involved in paying attention. I pledge to you that I will hear you, and that I will try to do things that are more in line with your values going forward. And thank you for using your voice, and I will respect your wishes. And, I don't know, let somebody else do the commencement speech. If he came out like that, that changes things for a lot of people, Right. And it gets him out of the way.
And if he put a PS on there, a PS at the bottom of the letter saying, by the way, enjoy paying your student loans, he'd be dark branded.
Yup. Student loan forgiveness for everybody except that dude.
Except them guys. Except them guys who said, F me, I don't want you at my commencement. Now you're stuck with your loans. Exactly. So I think we've had a great show. We've had a solid show. And I'm very pleased that our audience has stuck with us yet again. We are looking over the summer to introduce some different things that we think might bring some additional enjoyment.
Elevate the show.
And of course we would love to have some of y'all come on the show and help us talk to our Sharpies. So drop us a line as usual on our YouTube page, on our Facebook page, follow, and subscribe so that when new shows, we've been pretty steady on the 5:35, 8:35 thing on Thursdays. But if you subscribe, then when we post other kind of show in between the different episodes, then you'll get notifications about that too. And all of that helps. And we'd love for you to continue to help us grow the show. So that being said, I'm Tom Cunningham.
I'm Joy Stevens.
And this is Steel Sharpens Steel. Thanks so much.